The story follows Maddie Young, a deaf and mute writer who lives alone in a quiet house deep in the woods. One evening, Maddie was preparing dinner in her kitchen. At the same time, her friend and neighbor Sarah texted her, asking if she could come over for a while. Maddie agreed. While Maddie was busy putting food into the oven, Sarah arrived at her house. Maddie comes outside to greet her. Sarah smiles warmly and tells her that she has read her book. Maddie asks Sarah what she thinks about the book, and Sarah happily tells her that she loved it. They become so busy talking that Maddie forgets she had put the lamb in the oven. Suddenly, the fire alarm goes off inside the house. Both of them quickly run inside. Maddie takes down the alarm to stop the noise, while Sarah rushes to the kitchen and pulls the lamb out of the oven. In the middle of all this chaos, Maddie's cat quietly slips outside. Sarah says that the alarm is very loud, but Maddie explains that it has to be loud so she can feel its vibration while sleeping. After that, they sit on the porch and talk about Maddie's cat. Maddie tells Sarah not to worry because her cat is very independent. Sarah then invites Maddie to come over and order some food since the dinner got ruined, but Maddie says she has work to do. After Sarah leaves, Maddie receives a message from Craig saying that he is thinking about her, but she deletes it. Later that night, Maddie sits at her computer, eating while working on her new novel. Feeling stuck, she tries to video call Craig, but she cuts the call before it connects. Craig keeps trying to contact her again, but Maddie does not answer. Maddie goes to the kitchen to clean the mess she made while cooking dinner. At that moment, Sarah suddenly runs to her house and starts banging on the door in panic. She hopes Maddie will see her, but before anything happens, she is shot with an arrow and killed right outside the window. Maddie doesn't notice anything at all. The killer watches her from outside and even knocks on the window to check if she can hear him. When he realizes that she cannot hear anything, he drags Sarah's body away. Inside the house, Craig keeps calling Maddie, but she ignores his calls. She sits down again to continue writing her novel, but she is still unable to focus. Meanwhile, the killer quietly enters the house and walks very close to her. Maddie remains completely unaware of his presence. Suddenly, Maddie receives a video call from her sister, and the killer quickly steps away from the camera. They talk for a while about her novel, and Maddie also mentions Craig. Her sister suggests that she should start dating again, but Maddie refuses. While they are talking, the killer picks up Maddie's phone from the counter. Her sister notices the movement on the camera and points it out. Maddie assumes it's just her cat and says she will go check. They say goodbye, and after ending the call, Maddie tries to call her cat by shaking food in its bowl. The cat does not respond to her calls, so Maddie continues searching for it around the house. She then opens the door and calls the cat again, but when it still doesn't come, she leaves the door slightly open and goes back inside. After that, she sits down again to continue writing. Suddenly, she receives a picture message from her own phone. The photos show her searching for the cat just moments ago, and even the exact moment she is now looking at her computer. This frightens her deeply. Maddie slowly walks toward the door and looks outside. There, she sees the killer standing on her porch. He shows her that he has her phone. Terrified, Maddie quickly runs and manages to close the door just in time. The killer then starts trying all the doors around the house, looking for a way inside. Maddie rushes to her computer to call 911, but before she can do anything, the killer cuts off the power, leaving her completely alone in the dark. Maddie tries to connect to Sarah's internet network, but she doesn't know the password. Meanwhile, the killer keeps trying to scare her and walking away for a moment. Maddie goes to the door and sees him slashing the tires of her car. After that, he disappears into the woods. Trying to protect herself, Maddie writes a message on the glass door saying that her boyfriend is coming and that she did not see his face. She shines a flashlight on the message so the killer can read it. The killer reads it, then takes off his mask. He asks if she can read his lips, and she nods yes. He tells her that he knows she lives alone and that no boyfriend is coming to save her. Then he says something even more terrifying, that he can enter the house whenever he wants, but he will only come in when she is ready to give up and wants to die. Shaken but determined, Maddie goes to the kitchen and grabs a knife and a hammer for protection. She then goes into her bedroom. There, she blocks the door with furniture and closes the curtains to stay hidden and safe. Maddie carefully looks through the window, but she cannot see the killer anywhere. Suddenly, she notices a shadow appear on the window. When she looks closer, she is horrified to see that he is knocking on the glass using Sarah's dead body. Terrified, Maddie drops her weapons and runs back to the living room, breaking down in tears. After a moment, she remembers that Sarah had kept her phone in her back pocket. Maddie quickly takes her car keys and tries to activate the car alarm from inside, but it doesn't work. So she opens the door slightly and manages to turn on the alarm. The loud sound catches the killer's attention, and she sees him walking toward the car. Maddie runs back to her room and starts searching for Sarah's phone, but the killer returns quickly. She pulls the window shut, slamming it on his fingers. In that moment, she grabs a knife and stabs his hand. The man is injured and bleeding, so he tears a piece of Sarah's shirt and wraps it around his wound. He realizes that Maddie is looking for the phone, so he shows her that he has it and then leaves it on Sarah's body outside. Maddie goes back to the living room, but the killer tries to break in again through the window. A little later, she sees him moving outside and quickly hides. He looks through the glass door but cannot see her. Still, he guesses where she might be hiding. Maddie quietly opens the door and sneaks outside. When she sees him nearby, she hides under the porch. The killer walks right past her, not noticing her presence. Maddie stays still and focuses on feeling the vibrations of his footsteps through the wooden floor above her. The man walks around the house, trying to find her. When Maddie runs, he shoots at her several times with his crossbow, but he misses each time. She manages to get back inside the house and quickly locks the door again. Maddie goes upstairs to the second floor and watches him from there. When she notices that he is near the front door, she quietly opens a window at the back of the house and climbs out onto the roof. She moves very carefully, trying not to make any noise. To distract him, she throws her flashlight into the woods. The man follows the light, and Maddie starts climbing down from the roof. But suddenly, he returns and shoots her. He hits her, and then shoots again before climbing up to check if she is dead. Even though she is injured, Maddie pulls the arrow out of her leg. When the man reaches the roof, she pushes him off and takes his crossbow. However, she doesn't know how to reload it, which gives him time to climb back up. Maddie quickly escapes and gets back inside the house before he can reach her through the window. She points the crossbow at him, scaring him and forcing him to back away. After that, Maddie goes into the bathroom to treat her wound and try to stop the bleeding. Maddie pours alcohol on her wound and wraps her leg to stop the bleeding. She sits in the bathroom, crying and trying to think of what to do next. Then she picks up the crossbow and tries to load the weapon, but she cannot pull the bowstring into the locking position. She tries again, but this time the killer can see her through the bathroom window. At that moment, another man arrives and knocks on the front door, looking for Sarah. Maddie cannot hear him, but the killer does. The man is Sarah's boyfriend, John. John sees the message written on the door and decides to call the police. Just then, the killer appears and pretends to be a police officer. He orders John to drop his phone. John says that it's not a weapon and that he doesn't want any trouble. The killer then tells him to get on his knees and show his ID. John tells him that his ID is in his wallet and that he will put his phone down to take it out. He slowly takes out his wallet, and the killer grabs it from him. The killer looks at the ID and asks if John lives next door. John nods yes. The man then apologizes for scaring him. He lies and says that he responded to a call and found the house in this condition. He claims that someone was inside the house and ran past him when he arrived, even knocking him unconscious. He further says that the person stole his gun and his radio, and now he needs to call the sheriff. The man asks to use John's phone, and John gives it to him. He pretends to call his station, but when he finishes, he does not return the phone and instead puts it in his pocket. They continue talking about Maddie. John then notices that the man's arm is bleeding and asks him about it. The killer lies and says that the person who attacked him caused the injury. John asks for his phone back, and when the man finally returns it, Sarah's earring accidentally falls out of his pocket. John immediately recognizes it. At the same time, Maddie is still trying to load the crossbow, but she is unable to do it. Meanwhile, John becomes suspicious and starts to realize that the man is not a real police officer. He tells him that Maddie has a spare key hidden in a planter at the bottom of the stairs. When the man goes down to check the key, John quietly picks up a rock and slowly moves closer to him while still talking, so the killer does not suspect anything. As soon as John gets a chance to hit him, Maddie suddenly starts banging on the window. This distracts John, and the killer quickly stabs him. Even after being stabbed, John tries to fight back, but the man moves around him until John collapses on the ground. Maddie watches everything helplessly, and the killer even thanks her for appearing at the wrong moment. The man leans toward John, but John suddenly grabs him tightly and struggles with him. He tells Maddie to run. When she imagines running out the back door, the man chases her and kills her with a rock. This is not real, it is just one possible outcome playing in Maddie's mind. Her inner thoughts tell her that running is not the solution. Meanwhile, John dies before he can defeat the attacker. Maddie keeps thinking of different ways to survive, considering places where she could hide, like the bathroom or the loft. But she realizes that even if she hides, she might bleed to death. She is losing time, feeling dizzy, and her vision is getting blurry. Her inner voice tells her that she cannot run, hide, or wait anymore. Suddenly, she understands the only way to survive: she has to kill him. At the same time, the killer searches John's pockets and finds a pack of cigarettes. He sits on Maddie's car, lights one, and decides to wait before going inside, hoping she will grow weaker from blood loss. Then Maddie's cat appears. The man bends down, about to kill it, but Maddie shoots him with a crossbow. She quickly runs back inside the house. The man chases her and slams the door on her hand, badly injuring it. She manages to pull her hand back and lock the door. The man breaks the arrow and warns her that he is coming inside. Maddie gathers her courage and faces him. She uses her own blood to write, "Do it, coward," on the glass door. The man goes to his car to get a wrench. Meanwhile, Maddie writes his description in a document on her laptop so there will be evidence. As he starts breaking the glass door, she also writes a goodbye message to her parents. Finally, Maddie hides in the bathroom and waits for him, ready for the final confrontation. She begins to lose consciousness and doesn't notice him coming in from the window behind her. The man lets out a breath which she can feel on her neck, so she turns around dodging his knife and she stabs him. She runs out of the bathroom and gets to the kitchen, seemingly passing out on the floor. He limps toward her, ready to kill her when suddenly she sprays his eyes with wasp repellent. She grabs the fire alarm and activates it, further incapacitating him until he drops the knife. Maddie grabs the knife, but he pushes her. She falls on the floor and they fight. He nearly kills her. When she manages to reach the wine opener, she uses it to kill him. After that, she regains a little strength and takes her phone from his pocket. She dials 911 and then passes out. Later, Maddie comes out of her house and sits on the porch. Her cat sits beside her. After some time, the police finally arrive at the scene.